Welcome to this presentation about library resources and services for business and management students. My name is Mary Ann Irwin, and I am the subject librarian for business and management programs at your library. In this presentation, I will introduce you to some of my favorite databases, those which other students have found helpful for their research. We'll also look at library services to help you get started with your own research and get help when you need it. Then we'll look at how to select and access databases and how to find articles, including those from peer-reviewed journals. I'll demonstrate how to find company information in Business Insights Global and financials for Morningstar and RMA. And we'll look at IBISWorld for industry research. Making sure that you can get help is important to us. From the library homepage at library.webster.edu, you may watch our library overview video or chat with a librarian 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This service is staffed by real librarians, not a robot. For even more ways to get help, select the large blue Contact a Librarian button. If you're in St. Louis, stop by our service desk, or you may call or email us by filling out the form found here. If you need more in-depth help, the contact information for all our subject librarians is linked here too. On this page, we also feature a searchable database of answers to frequently asked questions. For example, how do I find my ID number? How do I write a case study analysis? Or find a peer-reviewed journal article. Most often, business students contact us for help with using our databases to find specific types of information. Databases are collections of information by format, for example, articles, financials, and industry reports, or by subject, business, health administration, human resources, or management. The other blue buttons on our homepage provide two ways to access databases. Select Articles and Databases or Research Guides. From the Articles and Database page, you can access alphabetical list of databases if you know the name of the database you want. Or we also have lists for programs in Webster University School of Business and Technology. If you don't see your program, select Business. It's the most comprehensive list. You may use the Database Types menu to narrow the list of databases to the format of information you want. Articles, case studies, company directories, financials, and industry reports are just a few of the types of databases available. You may be prompted to log in when accessing a library database or another electronic resource like an ebook. Enter your last name and your Webster ID number. Don't know or remember your ID number? The pop-up box includes a link to help you find it in your Connections account. The Research Guides button will also take you to lists of databases for business and technology programs, and may also include research tips to help you use databases more efficiently. If there is no guide for your major, select the Business and Management Guide for an overview of resources. The navigation menu on the Business and Management Guide opens pages for different kinds of information. For example, there are tabs for articles, books and ebooks, company directories, financial statements and investment reports, industry and SWOT reports, and more. Below the navigation menu, you will see the contact information for the subject librarian assigned to the program, in this case me. Contact our research librarians if you have a quick question about getting started or searching. If you need more in-depth help, you may schedule an appointment with me or email me a detailed description of your research. The Find Articles page of this guide lists our two most often used databases for finding articles: Business Source Complete, our largest business article database, and ABI Inform. Here you will find a tip sheet for how to search Business Source Complete for articles on a topic, as well as tip sheets for using the tools found in article databases to find the full text, use the database to create a citation, and save articles in folders. Next, we'll see a demonstration on how to find articles on a topic in Business Source Complete. A good way to start a search is to ask a question. We'll use, how does a company's leader impact organizational change? Next, select one or two words or phrases that you would expect to find in articles about your topic. In the Business Source Complete database, I'll type the word leader into the top search box and organizational change in the second box, and means both terms must appear in all articles. This search found over 3,000 results. Let's see how we might focus it to find a more manageable number of articles. While you're getting acquainted with the database and your topic, scan through the first one or two pages of results to see if your search is on track. If the search is too broad or you found too much, you might look in the article titles or the subjects for other words to add to your search, so that you are not overwhelmed and you can write a more focused paper. For example, in the search results, I see the subjects corporate culture and employee attitudes, which are ideas that I might want to explore. Here I have added the phrase corporate culture to the third search box using "and." I can also use the Refine Results menu to the left to limit this search to articles published since 2017 and to articles from peer-reviewed journals. When I do this, I now have only 52 articles. Your instructor may require that you cite peer-reviewed journal articles in your paper. Journals report experimental or theoretical research in a field in more depth than popular magazines or industry trade publications. Articles in these scholarly academic journals may be reviewed by other researchers in the field before the article is published. This adds a higher level of accuracy and trust to the article. If in doubt, be sure to ask your professor what kinds of resources they expect you to use for the assignment. If your first search finds too few articles, you may find more by adding a synonym to a search box using "or." Here I've typed corporate culture or employee attitudes in the third search box so that either phrase can be found by the search. I've also added the asterisk or star character to the end of the word leader to find any ending: leader, leaders, or leadership. This search found over 150 peer-reviewed articles published since January 1st, 2017. Look for the full text icon, which means that the entire article is available within the database. If you see the article link or message, the article is not available within this database. Click Article Linker to see if it is available in a different library database. If so, the blue Article Available button will link you to it. If the library does not have access to the journal you need, click the blue Requested Here button and the library will get it for you on interlibrary loan free of charge. Please allow 2 to 3 business days for the article to be posted to your ILLiad interlibrary loan account. We'll email you when it's available. From the result list of a search, you may also select the article title to see its record, which often includes a brief abstract or summary. Here, you may also find tools to help you organize your research. For example, you may be able to add items to a folder for use later in your current research session. That is, these are not automatically saved for future sessions. A Cite button may generate a citation for the article in many of the most used styles, including APA and MLA. However, be sure to check the citation to ensure that it is formatted properly if you use it in your paper. If you need to learn more about properly formatting citations, check out the section of the library's Research Guides homepage labeled Formats and Research Skills. Here, you may find guides for help with citing in each of the major citation styles, and you may also find guides on how to do research, write a literature review, and lists of the library's training videos. Next, let's look at databases for finding company information, including financials and industry reports. The Business Insights Global Database has a directory search under the Companies tab, and under the Industry tab, a search for industry information, for example, market share report. It also provides a wealth of information about global companies. In this example, I've typed Nike into the company search box. From the company profile for Nike, we can see general information, including the company hierarchy and its website, and the NAICS, or North American Industry Classification Codes, for Nike's primary business lines. We can select the industry, footwear manufacturing, to link to U.S. and global industry reports. We can also link to more detailed company information. Here's the link to Nike's company history from Gale's International Directory of Company Histories. Also, a SWOT report from Global Markets Direct that outlines Nike's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and investment reports curated by Thomson Reuters. Other available reports include Gale's Market Share Reporter and Business Ranking Annual. To get a broad overview of the business and management issues facing the company, you may click on the links to related articles by subject for legal issues, operations and technology, strategy and planning, and more. Displayed here are some of the articles from the sales and marketing section. If you need financial statements and investment analyst reports for large to mid-size U.S. public companies or those heavily traded in the U.S., Morningstar is the database for you. It is one of the few library databases that has a limited number of simultaneous users, so please close your browser or end the session when you're finished. In addition to company stock info, you may screen for funds and exchange traded funds, or ETFs, and use the portfolio tools to track your own investing. Morningstar provides a great wealth of help and education about the database and investment topics under the Help tab. To search, enter a ticker or company name in the search box. Let's search for Nike. From Nike's report, Morningstar's analysis includes independently researched analyst reports and ratings, including buy-sell recommendation, fair value estimates, and their proprietary star ratings. From the company report, you may jump to key ratios. Let's look at these and then use the menu to jump to the financial section. In the key statistics section, financial ratios for the company's operating and efficiency, shown here, financial health and cash flow are calculated for you. In the financial section, Morningstar provides data for up to 10 periods of annual or quarterly data for income statements, balance sheets, and cash flow. Select the statement you wish to see and then expand Detail View to display all data. Be sure to scroll to the bottom of the table to access the scroll bar to view all 10 periods of data. You may export data from any table into Excel. If you want to compare the company ratios found in Morningstar with the industry ratios, sometimes called industry averages, try the RMA Annual Statement Studies database. This database, too, includes a training resource center to help you to learn more about these ratios and how to use them. Here, I've searched the industry keyword footwear, but you can search and browse by NAICS industry codes as well. If you want a broad view of the industry in which your company competes, IBISWorld Industry Market Research covers operating conditions for over 700 major U.S. industries and many more niche industries. You may search by industry keyword or by NAICS code. I've searched for footwear, Nike's primary industry. I will select the shoe and footwear manufacturing report, but note that reports are available for footwear wholesaling and sporting goods and shoe stores. Click View More Results to see specialized industry reports for athletic shoe stores and online shoe stores. Remember, there is no need for Nike to make shoes if there is no way to sell them, so you may find valuable information here too. Here's the first page of the IBIS report for shoe and footwear manufacturing, which provides information about the industry. The page begins with an industry definition and a graphic showing the supply chain. In addition to suppliers and buyers, the graphic links to the business environment profile reports on key external drivers, for example, per capita disposable income and demand from footwear wholesaling. Also, on the About page are the U.S. major players or companies in the industry, industry jargon terms of importance, and additional resources, which links to major publications and industry association. Navigate to other pages and topics of the report by expanding the menu on the left. Here's the expanded menu for the Industry at a Glance section. It provides key statistics and trends, including an industry SWOT analysis. Perhaps you may wish to compare this with the company SWOT report found earlier in Business Insights Global. Also, you can see the market share of the major U.S. companies and the percentages of the product and services segments in the industry. Other sections of the report provide deeper information about these topics. The Industry Outlook tab provides a 5-year analyst projection for the industry. The Major Players section provides more information about these companies and some analyst insights. Check out the Operating Conditions section for information on capital structure, technology, revenue, and regulation within the industry. Key Statistics provides key industry financial ratios. Thank you for joining me for this brief overview of business resources and services. If there's one thing we want you to take away from this presentation, it's that we welcome your questions. We recommend that if you are doing research for 20 minutes and you aren't finding what you need, contact us. Visit us if you're in St. Louis, or you may email or phone us or chat with a librarian 24/7. From the library homepage, click the big blue Contact a Librarian button, or you may watch the rest of our instructional videos on our YouTube channel by searching Webster University Libraries. Happy researching!